Hi there. This yoga flow focuses on the legs, both from a stretch and strengthening point of view. If you have access to a yoga block, grab it now. Otherwise, a thick hardback book will do just as well. It's an option, you don't need to use it, but I'll show you where it'll be useful for you. We're going to start at the top of our mats. Feet hip distance apart. I'm going to turn sideways in just a moment, but for now, allow the shoulders to loop back, fingertips to slide down the legs, tailbone tucks, and the belly button's going to draw in. The head is going to lift, and we're going to take a big breath with a shoulder roll, lifting the shoulders up as we breathe in, sliding the shoulders down the back and releasing the fingertips down as we breathe out. Let's take another one. Breathe in, shoulders lift, pull back, and slide down. Perfect. You're going to stay at the top of your mat. I'm going to turn sideways on just to show you this a little bit better. We're reaching both fingertips up and overhead. You're going to take a hold of your right wrist with your left hand and use the left hand to pull your arm up and overhead. Now notice how my hips aren't shifting. The hips are staying over the feet, but I'm using my left hand to guide my right arm up and over to enjoy a lovely side body stretch. You might feel this down the arm and all the way through the body. Let's change sides. The left hand reaches up and over, using the right hand to guide your wrist. Stay tall, tailbone tucks, belly button pulls in. One more time towards the left. Reach up and over, hips stay still, keeping balance through the feet. And back the other way. Good, lovely. I'm going to return to the top of my mat. This time you're going to take a hold of your knuckles behind your hips. Slide the knuckles down towards the floor. Let the shoulders loop back. If it's comfortable, you can lift the chest, lift the chin as the knuckles draw a little bit lower, and you're bringing in an arch to your lower back. And keep the belly button pulled in so your abdominal muscles are firm. Good. Use your abdominal muscles to lift your shoulders back above your hips. Release your fingers. And now tuck your chin to your chest. Let the shoulders roll, start to look towards your toes, soften the knees, let the body lower all the way down, as long a reach as is comfortable for you. You have the option here to place the block or the book just in front of your toes as you sink. This is called a forward fold. And as the body relaxes, you should feel a stretch through the hamstrings, but we're keeping a little bit of softness in the knees, so not pushing out on the knee joint. Keep the knees a little bit bent, and it'll keep the front of the thighs engaged. You can give the head a little nod or shake here, so it's hanging really loose on your neck. The shoulders are relaxed, and the hands soften down towards the floor, or whatever's in reach for you today. Remember, the block or the book can go in front of your toes. We're going to take this into a halfway lift. So when you breathe in, slide the hands up the shins, let the heel of the hand rest underneath the knees, and as your arms straighten, flatten the back. Pull the tailbone behind you, the crown of the head forward, belly button pulls in, and I'm thinking about flattening my shoulder blades onto my back. This is quite a strong position. I'm making the thighs work a little bit while still enjoying the stretch through the hamstrings. Let's breathe out, reach the fingertips down towards the floor, forward fold. And then when you breathe in, halfway lift. The back is flat but long. Belly button pulls in. Forward fold one more time, reaching the fingertips down towards the ground, softening the upper body. Now I want you to imagine that you're going to sit back in an imaginary chair. Bend your knees, hips go back, and you're going to reach your fingertips forward. This is chair pose. Chair pose is awesome for strengthening your legs. You should have a long line from your hips up the body, through the shoulders and into the fingertips. If it's comfortable, you can reach your arms up. If it's a little bit tough on the shoulders, the arms can reach forward. But my weight's through my heels. I can wriggle my toes because I'm pulling the weight into the back of the feet. In just a moment, I'm going to let the fingertips roll towards the floor, hips lift up again, forward fold. So enjoying this section of stretch. With a breath in, sink the hips back, bend the knees, fingertips reach up, strengthening with chair pose. Really good, well done, keep breathing. The legs are working hard now, so if they tremble, It just means that they're active. We're going to breathe out one more time, fingertips down towards the floor, lift the hips, hang loose here. And as we breathe in, roll the body all the way up to an upright standing position. Shoulders slide back, head lifts, take the fingertips up with you as well. Grab a hold of your hands, reach them towards the ceiling and a little bit behind you, lifting the chin, lifting the chest. And release. Good, well done. All right, so now we're going to work into Yogi squat. You can either turn sideways along your mat or stay in the same position that you were. Bring the heels a little bit wider than hip distance apart. Turn the toes out a little bit. And we're going to make our way down as close to the ground as we can. Quite like a little shimmy and sway on the way down. Find your balance. Bring your palms together and your elbows between your knees. This is the Yogi squat. Now, if your hips are flexible, this might feel really comfortable for you. Some days I feel like I can spend ages here. So just to work that a little bit harder, lift up out of the floor just by 1 inch or 2. This will help the chest to rise up. The belly button pulls in again and just makes the muscles in the legs work that little bit harder. Yogi squat. And we're trying to keep the heels on the floor, but if that's not comfortable, the heels might rise up a little bit. Holding this position, keep breathing. We're going to take a twist. The right hand is going to reach to the floor. The arm is on the thigh, and my left hand, I'm going to reach it up towards the sky. So the hips haven't changed position, just the upper body. And let's change sides. Left hand to the floor. Arm on the thigh, right hand reaches up. Good, well done. Take both hands to the floor this time. We're going to lift the hips up as we straighten the legs, angle the toes forward, and then take the toes and the heels a little bit wider as we sink down into a wide-legged forward fold. So you might find that in the first forward fold, your fingertips were just off the floor, and this one allows you to come a little bit lower. It's because we've changed the position of the legs and the hips. You have the option again to use the block or your book to help to support your body. But try and let the head hang loose, nod and shake if that's comfortable. Shoulders are relaxed, they're soft, wide-legged forward fold. But try and remember again to keep a little bit of softness through the knee so you're not pushing out on the knee joint. The knee joint is a little bit bent. Okay, let's go into our Yogi squat again. So you're going to bring your heels and toes a little closer together so that the heels are just a bit wider than your hip line, bending at the knees, sinking the hips down low, hands to the center of the chest, and elbows between the knees. Now, if your hips don't allow you to come this low, of course you can stand a little bit higher up. If anything, it's a little bit harder because you're not sinking into the joint as much. So if your Yogi squat looks like this, like this, like this, or like this, that's all okay. Find a position that challenges you, but one that you can hold and one that you can still breathe in. Just a few more breaths. You're doing really well. Alright, release the hands to the floor. Straighten your legs, lift your hips, inch the heels and toes a little bit wider, wide-legged forward fold. Let the body sink down, either using your block or your book, or reaching all the way to the floor. Whatever feels comfortable. Head hangs loose, tilting your tailbone towards the sky. We're going to take a little walk towards our left leg. So use your hands to guide you. Try and keep both hips facing forward so we're not shifting at the hips. We're just taking the body a little closer towards the left leg. You can either wrap the hands around the calf or around the foot, or keep them on the floor. This just brings a bit of a stronger stretch into the left leg. Gently walking your way through the middle. Let's take it to the right. And again, you can wrap your hands around the calf or the ankle, or keep the hand on the floor. Hip bone still facing forward, stretching a little deeper into the right side. Good, let's take it through the midline again. Heel turn the feet back underneath your hips. Take a bend through the knee as we rise up. Good, well done. We're going to revisit chair pose just one more time, and I've got a little balance challenge for you. So, sinking the hips back, bending the knees, reaching the fingertips forward, hold your chair pose, and then we're going to lift our right heel up off the floor and we're on our toes just for a moment. Swap round to the left, onto the toes, the heel lifts. Ready to try both together? Up onto your toes. Keep breathing, heels lift. And if you fall out, that's okay. Let's not take it too seriously. Breathe, breathe, breathe. You're nearly there. See if you can stay on your toes. Bend the knees a little bit more. Coming closer towards the ground. 3, 2, 1. Touchdown. Well done. Sit your hips back. We're going to do single leg forward fold just to finish off today to allow the heart rate to settle down. So left leg extends, right knee bends, and then tilt it out towards the side. Placing the right foot on your left inner thigh. Lifting the left toes. Find your sit bones, sit tall. And we're going to take a breath in to lengthen. And a breath out to walk forwards. Slowly easing the body towards your thigh. Stretching into the left hamstring, the back of the left leg. Find a position that feels comfortable. Then you can use the breath again. Inhale to lift. Exhale to fold forward and then down. And it may be that your hamstrings are a little bit tighter, so you just reach your hands alongside or on your calf. Or if it's comfortable, you may be able to walk the hands a little bit further forward. Take one more breath cycle in to lift and out to lower. Use your hands to guide you upright. Swap the legs over. Extending the right, bending the left, tilting the knee out, placing the foot on the inner thigh, right toes pointed towards the ceiling. Find your sit bones. Take a breath in, lift, and the breath out to lower down. Taking your time again, finding a hand position which works for you either alongside or on your calf, or if it's comfortable, maybe you've got a bit more of a reach. Using the in-breath to lift and the out-breath to soften. And the more you slow your breathing, the more your heart rate starts to slow as well. You can even close your eyes if that's comfortable. Using your hands, let them guide you back upright. And we're going to finish on our back for this session. So use your hands, your elbows, your arms to guide you onto your back. Once you're here, take a little wriggle through the hips before you extend your legs. Relax your arms, palms up, close your eyes. Take a big breath in, and then let it go. As long as you need, or you can repeat this video again.